event, we're making it extra special because we're combining it with last month's event for the theme Radical. And that theme was actually selected by the San Diego chapter, so representing California, woo. And that was illustrated by Mahaswari Janatharnan. And we're so excited because our speaker really embodies both of these, biophilia and radical. So we'll go into that a little bit more soon. But before I get into that, I really want to welcome our newest global sponsor. It's Skillshare. And actually, we have a really special surprise for all of you who attended this virtual event, because Skillshare is giving us 1 month free to all of our attendees. So I will put that link in the chat. And Skillshare is a place where you can learn new skills, like photography, for example, or any topic you're curious about, you can really deep dive into at Skillshare. And I think this is a great time to take advantage of something like this because it's the holidays. Maybe you have a week to submerge yourself in something new. I think there's all types of topics. I would be interested in maybe learning a little bit more about what coding is like, or maybe some marketing topics. So we'll make sure to send that out. We'll put it in the chat right now as soon as I'm done with this presentation, and then we'll send it out in an email for all of you who attended. So that's 1 month free, and that's to welcome our latest global sponsor. And as always, we are thankful for our oldest sponsor, MailChimp, and they are the reason we're able to send out our emails, our registration emails for free, because Creative Mornings is all volunteer based, and it's thanks to our sponsors that we're able to do a lot of what we do. And then we also have Basecamp, which is a project management tool. They are also a global sponsor, so we're really thankful for having their support. So welcome to our virtual Creative Mornings Malmo event. And we are so excited to have Clara Norell. And I want to pass it over to Kirti so that she can do a little more in-depth introduction. Kirti is our speaker coordinator, but also has been a wonderful co-organizer for Creative Mornings Malmo. So I will pass that along to her. And stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much, Solange, and welcome everyone. Yeah, we're so happy that you guys have stayed with us. Those of you who've been with us throughout this year, and our transitions from different types of online events where we did like a live wrestling scene with our wrestler in March, and to presentations and workshops, and now in the fall when we've done these interview series, and I hope you've enjoyed them as much as we have. We just find that it becomes a bit more engaging to watch like people talk to each other, have a conversation, and because there are so many online like meetings and presentations all the time, so we just thought we'd do it a little bit differently. I also want to do a big shout out and thank you to our local sponsor. We didn't have a slide for them, but Census Skåne Blekinge, who have given us access to a unlimited like Zoom account, so that's why we're able to do this today. And they are a really great organization that work with adult education, and they have different workshops and different like smaller group learning circles and stuff. They're really, really interesting and really great. So do check them out, Census Skåne Blekinge. So big shout out to them. All right, but for what we're here for today, I am really pleased and happy to present our speaker, who, like Solange said, manages to capture both our last themes for this year, which is radical and biophilia. She is, as we have written about her, a multi-talented, explorative innovator who is working towards creating a positive change with the help of hemp. She's a construction engineer who is fortunate to call both Sweden and South Africa her home. So welcome to Creative Mornings, Clara Norell.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really an honor to be here.
Yes, we're so happy to have you here. When we get started, let's see here. So we're curious to know a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you ended up in South Africa, because that's sort of where your journey with hemp starts.
Yes, I came to South Africa in 2003. And then I came as an exchange student to Cape Town at the Cape Technicum Peninsula University. And then I was fortunate enough to, after just a couple of weeks, to meet, here we go. I think you can see now.
Yes, we can.
That's wonderful. Okay, so I came as a student, exchange student, to this place. It's a little bit blurry picture, but it's a beautiful university in the middle of Cape Town, Cape Technicum Peninsula University. And there I was studying engineering. And then just after 2 weeks, I met this person on the right, Teba Chumba. Big shout out to him. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So he actually became a very good friend of mine, and through music, because I'm a DJ and artist and have a record label as well. So I met him, and then after just 2 weeks, he took me out to one of the oldest and yet undeveloped, still to this day, undeveloped townships of South Africa. This picture here that you see is not Guguletu, that is Motherwell, which is outside of Nelson Mandela Bay Metropolitan, also known as Port Elizabeth. So the townships of South Africa, they are like built as an infrastructural apartheid system. So in South Africa, the people are placed after colors. So if you are a so-called Black person, you are placed in an area where only Black people live, and then you are placed also in an area where only colored people live, and the colored person is then somebody that the hair, when you stick a pen inside the hair, it wouldn't get stuck there. And this is actually true what I'm saying. So in the early days of apartheid, families were separated. They came and stick a pen inside the hairs, and if it was stuck, you were considered Black, and if it was not stuck, you were considered colored, even whatever color you actually had on your skin. And then families were separated and live in these horrific places. So in these houses that are built by the municipality on finance and order by the national government of South Africa, they are called the RDP houses, which is called Renewable Development Housing Programs. So as you can see here, they are out of order, and electrical cables are hanging. You can see that there is an electrical cable coming in from the window. So that would be looking like this, because there is only a certain amount of electricity given to these people. So when that electricity is out, and you still need to have a fridge that is working, you climb up in the poles, as you can see here, and cut off the cables. And then you take that cable into your kitchen. As you can understand, this is very dangerous to climb up in a pole and take it into your room. It creates fires. This is from Myrnia, so it's not Cape Town, but I just want to show some fire pictures, and we have fires all over the world. And this also is then this typical RDP housing that the many millions of people live in. And these houses are below all critics. They are built out of very bad construction materials. And for me, coming as a student to South Africa in 2003, a construction engineer, I was very, very frustrated by this. I could not understand it because for us, everything was about renewable energy, sustainable building materials. It was the Brundtland report, and we were like encouraged to think outside the box. And so it started there and then for me, like, how can it be like this? How can people live like this? How can they not have electricity and water and sustainable materials in a country where the sun is shining almost all the time and the rain is falling from the sky for free? And in Cape Town in particular, it is raining a lot because the city it's a huge mountain, Table Mountain. So there's clouds coming in and a lot of rains being created because of that. So I actually fell in love with the person living in this actual house that we see here. So this is actually where I have been living on and off since 2003. This particular house here where the toilet is also in the backyard. So I have firsthand experience of living without access to clean water in Guguletu since 2003. Because the people are applying for house like social welfare, and then with the house it comes a certain amount of electricity, a certain amount of water, and a certain amount of sewage and waste. So to answer your question, like how did you come in contact with hemp? It started here because it started like with frustration, and above all, like, this is so unnecessary. Like, how can it be? There must be other ways. And so for me, it started like I wanted to also give back to the people that gave me so much. So the lady up here in the corner is the grandmother of my child, who you see running there with the messy shirt. So she is the mother of the father of my child. So I wanted to really give back to her to be able to live in a sustainable house, and her and all the other 30 million people in South Africa living under these conditions. And as South Africa is also facing a lot of climate changes, I started to like think about how can we make this in a better way. Should people really have to live like this? And we see also people then, if you don't live in a sustainable and healthy environment, you will want to go somewhere else. You will want to flee to Europe, where you think that everything is good, but you could actually stay. And it just goes on and on and on. This is actually my sister-in-law, who also died last year due to these houses are so bad constructions. So in the winter it gets very cold and damp, and so people also get sick from this and dying from living under these circumstances. So to answer your question, it takes a long time for me to answer your question, but it started there, like it for me, like, okay, so this what we see here, which is some Swedish text, but we, like, while I was in South Africa, I was also studying like rainwater catchment areas, green roofs, how like sustainable materials and all this. Of course, the Agenda 2030 targets were not there then. It was called other things back then. It was Agenda 21 and those kind of things. But a part of my education was very clear on regards to making it sustainable. So I started to investigate, I started to study, and I started to travel around South Africa. I drove over 400 kilometers around the whole country to study different places, to go and look at these houses and to do measurements together with the people living in these houses, and see how can we make this a better place. This is a place that's called Moshosho Village. It's in the middle of South Africa in Kimberley, and that was a private corporation building an eco village for the people, and this is a separated toilet. So I started to like travel around and visit different places, and then I came to the legend and the guru and the one that has inspired me very much, and that is Tony Budden. He is the founder of Hemporium, and this is his house that he has built in Noordhoek, Cape Town. And so I came in contact with him very early through my investigations and research. And he was building this amazing house where everything is made out of hemp. So this is a hempcrete house or a hemp lime house that you see here on this picture. And I don't have any inside pictures now, but when I came inside, like everything is made out of kitchen. The boards in the, like the kitchen boards, the mats, the curtains, the bed linen, everything. So it was there and then, like meeting Tony, that really opened up my eyes. So I just have like, here is some very beautiful bed linen that is from a Swedish company. And then I have this with me here to show you, like, this is also hemp, would be put into something like this, which is, as you can see, something you put over the bed. You can see,
Yeah.
you know, like you put here. So this in here is hemp fiber, and then this material out here is hemp fiber and cotton. I'm going to show you a picture, like I'm just going to go through all these pictures very quickly to show you one of my favorite pictures. This is what I face. It's very difficult to be taken serious. Like you feel like Greta here. You have research-based facts about this plant, and you have all this what I'm saying here now, which is obviously not me made it up. It's research, it's experience, it's knowledge. But since it's the sister plant to cannabis, it's the Swedish botanical forefather Carl von Linné that named these plants cannabis. So the industrial hemp Latin name is Cannabis sativa, L for Linnaeus. And it looks very similar to the cannabis. And in Sweden, we have a perception that then cannabis is something that is very dangerous. But as of last week, we have now new laws in the world, which I hope will be helping Swedish investors to take their senses together, because cannabis is no longer an illegal drug nowhere on this planet. The UN, the United States Nations, has officially declared that cannabis has been removed from Schedule 4, where it oddly enough was laying next to heroin, to Schedule 1. So cannabis, which is not industrial hemp, that I just want to emphasize that very much. So industrial hemp, which is the plant I'm working with, is an agricultural crop, an industrial plant, which has 0.3% THC, which is the thing that can make you high or something like that. But the industrial plant don't have it. But cannabis in general is now medicine, and cannabinoids and CBD, which is something that you can find in the leaves, also on the industrial plant, is considered food as of EU Commission. So these laws were changed last week in the whole world. Yeah. So we haven't heard much about it on the Swedish news, but I'm sure that's going to help slowly but surely for investors to not feel so anxious, because that is usually, you know, the first conversation you have to have. Is that not a drug? Will you get high? Can you smoke it? But you can't, like, as I said, the plant that I'm working with it doesn't have those kind of qualities, if you want to call it that.
This has been very interesting. I have, I think, one more question, and then we will open up the floor for audience questions. So if you have a question from the audience, please type it in the chat or unmute yourselves and ask the questions. So I would say that, I mean, it's not always been like this in Sweden, right? We were speaking on how we had big like hemp industries in Sweden until the turn of the century. Just a little bit quickly, like just a little anecdote about that, if you would care to share, and then we'll open up the floor for audience questions.
Yeah. So, for example, we have something in Karlskrona, which is an old örlog. I don't know the word in English for that. It's where you make the ropes. That factory is still open. It opened in 1692, and it's like a world heritage for rope making. It's a 300-meter long building, because the hemp has some kind of strange qualities there again, that when you make the rope, you have to lay it out long, and then they made it that long building. And also Gotland, which is a small island next to our country, when we were part of the Hansa Union, which was back in the days, Gotland was the largest hemp producer in the Hansa region. And also, which might not be the best reference, but I make it still, the Vasa ship was all ropes and sails were from hemp. So we have used it for a very, very long time. And there was a Norwegian ship that's been found from the Viking times, and there was a queen found there, Queen Åse, and then they found also two skeletons next to her, lady skeletons, female skeletons, and one of them was carrying like a little pouch, you say that, where they found cannabis seeds. So this is a crop that we have used up here in the north, as well as down south in South Africa, for example, for over 400 years. And if we look at the world in general, we know that part of the Chinese wall is made of hemp lime, and it's been used for so many years. The mummies are wrapped in hemp textile. The first Bible was written on hemp paper. The first dollar bill was made out of hemp paper from the leaves, because the leaves make very, very, very fine paper. And also back in the days, both in Sweden, UK, and Finland, what I know for certain, and also in the States, farmers had to grow a certain amount of hemp to give to the state, because it was used for ropes, for material, for sales, and for grail, the food. So it's an old plant that's been working together with human beings for a long time. And now here, what you see in the picture is Collective Growth Corporation, which is the largest hemp company on the planet. This is some figures that they have estimated And I showed you before from the Barclay Institute that estimates that within the following 9 years, the meat substitute industry will take 10% of the annual meat consumption. And with that, I just want to be a little bit proud and show that we have made hemp kebab.
Oh, wow.
Of our hemp. Where is it? There. So on the right, you see a New Zealand company develops the world's first hemp-based fake meat. And to the left, you see the Nordic hemp company's protein powder made into a hemp kebab. And this is a collaboration that we have done with Solina, Sweden, and the 2 students at the gastronomic program at Kristianstad University in Sweden. So we do believe that hemp is the future, but for that to happen, we really need to find those strategic partners and innovative cutting edge investors and ag tech and food tech and collaboration. Unfortunately, I've been writing in Swedish here. I apologize for that. But we are sure that those innovative and cutting edge investors are out there.
People have had a really good morning, and it's been so eye-opening, definitely. So
yeah, thanks a lot, and please do not hesitate to reach out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can find information about Clara on our webpage, and we can post it on our Facebook, maybe Solange, or on our Instagram, just like your details and stuff if they want to get in touch with you. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us, and yeah, have a great day, and we'll be back in January, at the end of January. Thank you so much for this year from us at Creative Mornings, to our audience that stays true and shows up every month. Thank you so much. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Clara, and bye everyone. Have a great weekend and happy holidays.
Thank
so
you.
Everyone.
Stay safe and stay sane.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna end the meeting. So thank you everyone. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.